Weather is brought to you by your locally owned Midas of Eastern Ontario, with lifetime guarantees on brakes, suspension, exhaust, and now on tires. Come and experience the Midas difference.
Yes, two lows sort of merging over us in the last 24 hours, and that's brought us a bit of a mess. Started off as snow, made that transition to freezing drizzle this morning, and it took a while switching back to rain, or it hasn't even done that yet. We're still seeing that freezing drizzle, light rain through the region. We're hoping that sometime through the evening, overnight, it will push a little farther north. We'll get into the green instead of the pink that you saw, and we'll take another look at that shortly. At this point, we're hoping, being optimistic, that that will change, and we've got 10 millimeters of rain on the way. If it should stall, we may see more freezing rain accretion and less of the rain. Cloudy Thursday, more rain overnight. So cloudy, it's kind of that 40% chance of drizzle, maybe 60% probability through Brockville and Smiths Falls, northern sections of Brockville and Smiths Falls, looking at that risk of freezing rain lasting a little longer. Rain for Friday as it moves in overnight Thursday and lasts through a better part of your Friday. It won't be until the afternoon that we see it moving out of the way or diminishing in probability. And then a risk of freezing rain is still there, especially for those communities north of the lake and to the east. Cloudy weekend, cooling late Sunday, and sunny and cold for Monday. So we start to see that big change, temperatures dropping, clouds parting way, and giving to some sunshine as we roll into the work week. So this is where we're sitting now. Very mild conditions across the region south of us, but we're still in the freezing zone in this section. So as that warm rain falls on our cold surface, we see the freezing, and that's how that happens. You know, you get rain falling, and then you have a very cold surface, and it all freezes. And this accretion, today we've had about 2 millimeters, I think. -1 in Peterborough, -2 in Belleville, -3 in Kingston, -3 in Brockville for daytime highs today, -6 in Smiths Falls. A cooler in Ottawa at -8. We had a 2 in Toronto and 1 in Oshawa. So they're already seeing that switch over to the rain, and have for hours now. So the freezing rain, not a big issue. It's Eastern Ontario that's facing that. Also from Ottawa to Montreal, a big issue into Quebec. So yeah, they're reporting rain now. So it's not to say that areas north of the immediate Kingston area not still seeing freezing rain, but for the central Kingston area, we're starting to see that transition. This reported at Norman Rogers at the top of the hour. So this is a good sign that they're seeing rain. That means most of us are probably going to, if not now, soon see rain. Wind chill at about a -7 right now, and we are looking at we had about 6 centimeters of snow and about 2 millimeters of freezing drizzle since last night. 7:31 for sunrise, setting at 5:05. You've gained 2 more minutes of daylight. Nice to see that sun setting a little later now. So the first of the lows moves through, and then it was actually 2 lows, one being eaten up by the other, and then we have 2 more lows phasing right in behind it. And this is why the precipitation is probably going to last well into Friday. As it moves out and we start to see some clearing on the tail end of this Friday and into Saturday, there's that small probability. It's diminishing, but there's small probability of a flurry to sort of wrap it up as it's moving out. This is where we're sitting now. We're in the pink. Usually that means a good thing, but not right now. We are looking at some freezing rain, an extended period of it. And even though we make that transition to rain, did you notice how there's still that pink element there? That means that at any given time, the rain can go back and forth from rain to freezing rain, back to rain. We see that lull through your Thursday. There's still that 40% chance of drizzle. And then, again, we're into the rain as the other system moves through. 2 lows phasing, moving through. Friday afternoon, we see it ending, but you see how it cools off right near the tail end, getting into the cooler sector of the system. As that cooler air moves in, we could see some flurries wrapping it up. And then, yeah, just cloud for Saturday. You get a freezing rain warning, and you get a freezing rain warning, and everybody's getting it. You get the point. It's pretty widespread, and it's going to last for a while. 40% chance of drizzle and light rain tomorrow, Belleville, once you get out from under the heavier rain tonight. A high of 3, up to 3 again on Friday, and periods of rain. Keep in mind that risk of freezing rain is still there in the early morning, late night hours when temperatures do drop. You can see those overnight lows around the freezing mark. So as precipitation continues in those cooler hours, there is a risk of freezing rain. Saturday, a high 4, cloudy with sunny periods. Finally out from under the rain. Brockville, high of 3, and we've had that rain tonight, but turning to a 60% chance of light rain and drizzle tomorrow. Risk of freezing rain with that as well. Friday, a high 2. Periods of rain mixed with freezing rain, especially through the evening. Again, a greater risk. Saturday, cloudy with a high of 3. Smiths Falls, you're up to 2 degrees tomorrow. Freezing rain tonight, mixed with rain tomorrow. 60% chance of freezing rain through the day. That jumps right up to a good 90% probability overnight. Freezing rain mixed with rain again Friday. Freezing rain, a high of 2. You get a greater risk of that freezing rain into Friday night and Saturday morning, but then becoming cloudy, a high of 3. Kingston. We'll have to get to your forecast a little later. It seems that my software has sort of jumped the gun here. We'll get to it in a few minutes.
Weather Wallpaper is brought to you by Christine Geary's Maple Leaf Tours Travel Cruise. Visit mapleleaftours.com to get into the picture.
Is your system frozen like the ground right now,
I think
Bill?
the freezing rains got into the system here. Every time I try to get to the next board, it seems to skip 2 or 3. So I'm going to have to go back and reset the system. We'll try to get that Kingston forecast for you in a little while.
And a weather wallpaper, hopefully,
Yes,
too.
and a weather wallpaper.
I didn't think I'd be wishing for rain in January, Bill, but here we are. It's better than, I guess, the freezing variety, right?
Yeah, and I fear for those in Smiths Falls and other areas away from Lake Ontario where it's a bit cooler, where you're getting those extended periods of freezing rain. It does look as if it's going to last for some time.
Well, you know what? You're going to give us the 10-day outlook anyway, which includes the next 7 days. So we'll look for that, and maybe you can squeeze a weather wallpaper in there a little bit later for us.
Yes, I will. I'll include it.
Okay, you reboot that system now.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Bill. Away on the Emmy winner, Marcus Smiths. Imagine doing your work in your living room and you win an Emmy as well for that. But as you heard, he's been to many Olympics. He does a lot of research, fact-finding, and background that you hear all the announcers talk about. He helps to gather that. So well done, Marco. Congratulations. Bill, you plan to reboot this forecast, but did it make any difference?
No, it does look as if that freezing rain warning continues. We'll get to that in a second. Let's have a look at that weather wallpaper picture for the day. Dennis Allen of Kingston sends this in. He calls it waiting for spring. That's the locks at Kingston Mills, seized up with snow and ice, and it will likely thaw out and get back in action in the warmer months. But right now, that's pretty much what it looks like. Thanks a lot, Dennis. You can send in your pics at submissions@ckwstv.com. Let's move on to our forecast now. And yeah, our 10-day outlook, a little up and down with temperatures. Quite mild over the next few days as we see the periods of rain you get tonight, a risk of freezing rain north of the 401 and east away from the lake. You're seeing a lot more of that. It turns to about 40% chance of drizzle. Other areas looking at freezing drizzle away from the lake. And then tomorrow night, the rain picks back up again. That continues through your Friday. A greater risk of freezing rain, like I said, in other communities away from Lake Ontario where it's much cooler. Saturday, a high 3, just cloudy. Cloudy with sunny periods on Sunday, hoping to see some clearing later in the day. And yes, Monday, it's a mix of sun and cloud, much cooler, high -6, -4 for a high Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud. Cloudy with sunny periods Wednesday as we rise to -1 and back into the plus zone, but just barely over Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week. But you may have noticed no precipitation for several days.
Yay.
Getting a break from it.
Well, so we just have 2 more days of this kind of mess to contend with, right?
Yeah, a lot of rain. Locally in the central Kingston area, you're going to notice a lot of that snowpack getting melted away.
And again, Bill, when is the freezing rain supposed to end this evening?
Well, it depends on where you are. It's already starting to come to an end and switch to rain in the central Kingston area. Once you start to move away to the north, closer to the 401 and obviously north of the 401, it's a greater risk of freezing rain extended through the night. Madoc, Bancroft, Charbot Lake, all these areas to the north, and all stops in between. The freezing rain has not ended yet.
Good to know, especially if you have to do some traveling or not. We'll be right back.
Your long-range weather is... You're watching CKWS News at 11.
Lots of active weather in our region thanks to a push from the south as we see 3 low-pressure systems sort of plague us with freezing rain was the big thing today, but it's all transitioning to rain now as we see these lows move off to Atlantic Canada. A couple more lows right in behind, bringing more rain for Friday. That freezing rain is a real issue, especially in those overnight, early morning, late night hours where temperatures dip to freezing or lower. As we get into the plus range, well, it's just rain. Belleville, a high of 3 tomorrow. Your periods of rain overnight likely to switch to a 40% chance of light rain and drizzle through the day. And then by the evening, we get back into periods of rain. That rain continues Friday with a high of 3. Come Saturday, cloudy with some sunny periods and a high of 4 Celsius. Brockville rising to 2 tomorrow. We have that rain tonight turning to a 60% chance of light rain and drizzle tomorrow. Periods of rain picking back up overnight for Friday. It's rain, but yeah, as temperatures cool down, we could see it mixed by the evening. Saturday, cloudy with a high of 2. Smiths Falls, rain tonight and freezing rain. Tomorrow, more freezing rain, a greater risk for you, a 60% probability of freezing drizzle and rain through the day. It picks up through the night, rain and freezing rain again. And for Friday, it's a combination of rain and freezing rain. Saturday, cloudy with a high of 3. Kingston, your forecast? Periods of rain tonight. We're seeing that freezing rain make that transition now. Tomorrow that drops to a 40% chance of light rain or drizzle through the day. By the evening, we're back into periods of rain again. Friday, rain, high 2. Come Saturday, just cloudy with a high 3, rising to 2 on Sunday. And we may see it start to clear through the afternoon and cool down Sunday night. Monday, much cooler, a high -6, a mix of sun and cloud, more of the same Tuesday with a high of -3 and back up to the freezing mark Wednesday, mostly cloudy.